Well, the game didn't go as we wanted, right? But that's the way it goes. Odds are always not in your favor. You have to work to get through those odds. That's something we've talked about all year long. There's always been a lot of comparison of, well, are you up to snuff where you need to be and things like that. Each game is a measuring stick. You can't measure a season just off of single performances. You have to look at it as, did they get better throughout the year? USD's improved. We've improved. We haven't improved enough. That's just the way it goes. But I would have to say that there's a couple of things that went on behind the scenes this season that a lot of you guys didn't know. But these seniors, again, I will tell you, they overcame a lot. They improved. But they're better people than they are basketball players. And that's what it's about for me, coaching and teaching. And the one thing I will tell you about this game, you didn't see any negative reactions or character out there. You saw them compete till the very end. And I can tell you right now that is something that at the beginning of the season was very hard to teach them. But I can tell you the last month, it was them. They learned that lesson, and that's how they played. And I can tell you also that playing the University of South Dakota, it was good for our players to be able to have that experience.
Questions for the student athletes?
That was for us, both for Lexi and Melissa. In 2 previous games, they beat you by 30 and 33. What flipped at this game where you were pushing them in the second quarter, and you really had their commanded their attention the way you came back? What was the difference this time?
I think just not being afraid of the moment, and just going out there and just giving the best that we can. And yeah, we came up short, but I think we're pretty happy with the fight we had all night, and just being able to just go out there and be confident in what we're doing. And I think we did that for most of the game, but obviously we didn't get the result we wanted, but very proud of everybody.
I thought our bench came out and picked us up when we needed it, and I thought they brought a lot of effort and energy, and that sparked us to get us going in the second.
And then for both of you, it was a physical game. Correct. There's no denying that. But was it as physical game as you've played all year against an opponent?
I guess I wouldn't say so. I mean, I feel like every game we kind of play is physical. That's kind of the game we like to play. But I mean, you got to play through that stuff. That's part of it, and just got to keep going and just keep trying to score through people, just dribble around people. Just you got to find other ways to score and play defense.
Yeah, it was pretty physical, but we've faced that kind of physicality before. But so we fought back. I thought we did pretty well. It just didn't come up as a win.
All right, ladies, thank you very much. You can head to the locker room. Questions for Coach?
Yeah, Travis, I mean, the same thing. I mean, the first 2 games, they were 30-point games. This game, had the feel of a great tournament game, and second quarter was as good as it gets, right? I mean, what was the difference?
Well, some of it was the maturity of our players, right? Lexi's pretty humble. She became a better leader. I thought as the season wore on. I thought Melissa's done a tremendous job of stepping up in her role no matter what we've asked her to do. And when you look at that, that carries over into the game, right? We got some points out of Melissa that we hadn't had all year long. Jill was playing a lot better. However, I think the big thing about it is understanding that when you change conferences and play teams that are established in the conference, which, we've done before, it's not the easiest thing to do, and so you have to come out with the right mindset, and that's what changed was, hey, we actually want to belong in this, and we want to be considered in the fight at the end of the year, and you have to fight for that, and that's why it changed. They just fought really hard, and tonight USD was better, but for me, I look at it, they closed the gap.
You have to be pretty pleased with your 2 games in this tournament. First time at league tournament, you upset a team yesterday, and you're hanging around a top 25 team, for a good portion of the game. But you take away of the tournament, pretty good.
Well, man, it's let's see, year 7, and this is the second second conference have been in, right? And that's different, right? And being able to have a team battle the way we do, and you know, it tells you about our league, though, right? Is you can't just go, oh, you're this seed, this is not going to happen. You got to be a competitor at all times. And when I look at, you know, beating Denver, right? It's a very good ball club, but we played better that night, and that's the key. We need to play better again tonight. That's the key. And it's tough, but it's part of being in this conference. And you know, again, we're new, right? And when you're new, it takes a little bit more work.
Do you have a read on this game tomorrow between these two teams that obviously, like you said, are kind of the class of the conference, and obviously it's going to have a lot of hype from both sides?
Well, I mean, that's a tough question, man. I used to work at South Dakota State. No, I'm just kidding. The thing about it is that two contrasting styles. You look at what Aaron Johnson does with his teams. Very disciplined in the aspect of where to get the ball on the floor, get shots on the floor. They do a lot of posting of their guards, but the thing about it is their post can knock down shots. You go, well, that's very similar to what South Dakota does. Not really. South Dakota is more of an isolation team, in my opinion. They run a lot of sets to get people, to attack certain people in the schemes, and you know, that's going to be interesting because South Dakota State's pretty solid 1 through 5. So it's going to be a heck of a game in that aspect. You know, I think Don does a tremendous job of game planning as well. It's going to come down to which team gets hot, and the other part, you know, it's going to be a flow game. It really will be. You know, I think both teams are more of a controlled tempo style, where we're more of an up-tempo team. We're okay with a little chaos at times, where both these teams, they're more of a, hey, let's control tempo on both ends of the floor. So when you look at that, it's going to be a very interesting game in that aspect. It'll be exciting to watch. You know, I'd rather be a participant in it, obviously, but two coaches that done a tremendous job.
Any other questions for Coach? All right, thank you, Coach.
Yep, thank you, everybody.